the advisory group of experts gathered in full to conduct an interview with the candidate for the position of Judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Roman Holobutovskyi. In particular, all 6 AGE members are present: AGE Secretary Maureen O'Connor, AGE members Hanna Sochocka, as well as AGE members Aleš Zalar, Yaroslav Romaniuk, and Vasil Shakun, as well as myself, the AGE chairman, Oksana Vasilchenko. During the interview, 5 AGE deputy members are present: Volodymyr Kuzmenko, Vitaly Machinchuk, Richard Barrett, Thomas Griffith, and Marek Zubik. I know that we work in a shelter, so in the event of an air raid, interviews will continue without interruption. I would also like to remind you that the interview is being recorded and broadcast live on the resources of the AGE and the website of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. Therefore, I draw the attention of the members of the AGE and the candidate regarding the restriction of the use of sensitive data and information with limited access live. If it is necessary to discuss such issues, the AGE will limit the broadcast at this time. We are ready to begin, so I give the floor to the AGE Secretary Maureen O'Connor for the brief introduction.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Greetings, dear colleagues and everyone who is watching us today. As Ms. Vasilchenko has already said, the advisory group of experts will now conduct an interview with the candidate Roman Holobutovskyi. Let me remind you that the interview is an opportunity provided in the mandatory stage of evaluating candidates as part of assessing their compliance with the criterion of high moral qualities. One interview is given approximately up to 1 hour, and the time limit for answering the questions is up to 3 minutes. Traditionally, we ask all candidates to be concise and to answer clearly, unambiguously, and to the essence of the question that you are asked. At the end of the interview, the candidate can make a short final statement of up to 5 minutes. I would also like to note that during the proceedings and the processing of materials about candidate Holobutovskyi, the AGE sent him questions to provide written explanations, so the candidate had the opportunity to prepare and to provide those answers. So now we have with us candidate for the position of Judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Roman Holobutovskyi, who was admitted to the competitive selection simultaneously by the Committee of the Rada of Ukraine and the Competition Commission under the President of Ukraine. Mr. Holobutovskyi is a judge in the Dnipro District Administrative Court. He has a doctorate in law. He works part-time at the Dnipropetrovsk State University of Internal Affairs. He also has the status of an attorney. Mr. Holobutovskyi, if you want to add something to your presentation, you can do it now within 2 to 3 minutes. Proceed. Thank you.
Pani Hanna, proszę, zapytanie.
Pani Hanna, please continue with your questions.
Thank you. Mr. Holobutovskyi, I would like to make some questions. Since 2010, you have been a judge at the Dnipropetrovsk District Administrative Court. At the same time, from 12 August 2018 to 21st June 2019, you interned with a lawyer, after which in July-August 2019, you received a certificate of the right to practice law and took the attorney's oath. Do you confirm this information?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that being under 2 oaths at the same time is lawful? How is this consistent with the provisions of the law and the principles of independence and impartiality of the court. Have you combined the functions of a judge with the performance of the attorney's work? How it was possible? How you can explain this situation? Because it's very unaware exactly.
I worked as the judge for a 5-year term, which has expired, and for a longer time I was not appointed as a judge, so I was considered to be a judge. However, I was not working as a judge. In order to use this time with use, I did pass the attorney exam. However, I did not work as an attorney, and I did not have any practice as an attorney. That's all.
So you have not worked the same time as judge and attorney general, an attorney, yes?
Ні.
I did not work as a judge and attorney at the same time.
And then I see that in your reporting documents drawn up as a result of the internship, as well as in the report of your internship supervisor, it is noted in particular that you participated in the considerations of civil, administrative, and criminal cases, and in particular spent 14 hours attending hearings of economic cases in courts. At the same time, in your answer to the questions of the advisory group and during the interview with the ethic councils in 2022, you indicated that you did not participate in the meetings because you did not have the right for this. Do you confirm this information? Because it seems not very...
Так, підтверджую.
Yes, I do confirm I did not participate in the meetings. I believe that this was just a formal statement by my internship supervisor. I did not participate in the meetings.
But I don't know, because it's very difficult for us to understand that it means that you submitted false information about the result of the internship to the Bar Council of Dnipropetrovsk region. How it was happening?
I did not fill in this information.
Question: for what reasons did you and your internship supervisor indicate in official documents actions that you did not actually commit?
I would like to draw your attention to the fact that I did not fill in this information. It was filled in by the internship supervisor, and I have no clue what he included in this information, so I cannot explain this.
And you are not informed about it? You didn't know about it?
Ні.
No, I wasn't. This is the first time that I hear about this.
But you know, because otherwise it means that you gave a false information. So we would like to clear the situation exactly very well, because otherwise you should be aware that in accordance with Article 62 of the law on Ukraine on the bar and advocacy, the provisions of further information for obtaining a certificate of the right to practice law and taking the oath of an advocate of Ukraine is the basis for revocation of the certificate of the right to practice law. You are aware about it?
Я обізнаний за порушення.
I am aware, but once again, I would like to say that I did not fill in the documentation regarding internship, and this is the first time that I'm learning about this.
So you have no more to explain us. Yes, it's your final explanation to this question.
Дякую.
Sana?
Роман Зінович,
Roman Zinovich, when answering the first request of the advisory group, you indicated that you use a 2023 Mercedes-Benz EQS, which belongs to your father, only at his place of residence, meaning in the Lviv region. Do you confirm this information? Yes and no. I did provide the answer that I do use it at his place of residence, but it is not only in the Lviv region. We speak about the place of residence of your father. I used this vehicle to move from Lviv region to other regions, and since I sold my own vehicle, I did use this one. Why did you not provide the advisory group with this information about the use of this Mercedes-Benz? I started using this vehicle in 2024, and I did mention this in the information provided to the AG. I did not declare it, and I provided the answer from Nazaka regarding the clarification whether I must declare this vehicle. I do believe that this is a temporary use of the vehicle. I understand this. If you do say that this is a temporary occasion, how can we explain the fact that the vehicle was registered in Dnipro, and among all close persons, only you yourself live in the city of Dnipro? Yes, I did provide this in the response to the advisory group when signing the purchase contract approximately in 2022, in summer of 2022, taking into account the conditions of full-scale invasion. Non-cash payments were not accepted, and it was the only institution in Dnipro where it was possible to sign the purchase agreement. I would like to remind you that this is the car that was issued in 2023. Yes, but in order to purchase the vehicle that was issued in 2023, we needed to sign the purchase agreement in 2022. Okay, let's continue several questions here. We have another question regarding Porsche Cayenne 2019 production year. You categorically denied that you or your close people, father, brother, are directly or indirectly related to this car. Do you confirm this information? Yes. At the same time, according to the information available to the advisory group, this car was registered under VTP Vsesmag LLC, that is a company owned by your family. Not fully, my family owns a part of this company. But as the co-founders, they are also your close relatives, meaning the car is registered under the name of the company that is partially owned by your relatives. Again, how would you explain the fact that this car was also registered in the city of Dnipro? So this is the car that was registered under the company that is partially owned by your family, and you were the only person who used this car. I rarely used it. Yes, but you did register the car in Dnipro. According to the information, we know that you used this car in the majority. I used it on very rare occasions. I mostly stayed in Kyiv and Lviv, yes, but the registration and re-registration took place in Dnipro. Okay, thank you. Anna?
On 24 June 2020, you have been brought to administrative liability for driving an Audi e-tron without a front-end license plate. Do you confirm this information?
Так.
Yes.
Yes. So why did you not reflect the relevant fact in paragraph 22 of the judge's declaration of integrity for 2020?
Я не пам'ятаю.
I cannot remember. I think I have included the administrative fines in every declaration. Maybe the register didn't operate back then and I couldn't verify this information, but I think I enter this data every year.
Information we can find it in this declaration. So, and you don't remember what has happened. You don't
Ні,
know.
на
You
жаль, я
don't.
не пам'ятаю.
No, unfortunately, I cannot remember. But as far as I remember, I always reflect fines in my declaration because it's pointless to, conceal it.
Oksana, thank you.
Пане Зіновичу, і
Okay, and I have a few questions about the entrepreneurship activity of your wife. We can cease the broadcast. We can, yes. Okay, I'm requesting to cease the broadcast, live broadcast. Zinoevich. And now the cycle of question referring to your sick leave during 2023-2024. Mainly, in your dossier, as the candidate for the position of the judge in the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, there is information that as of February 2023 up until April 2023, you obtained e-sick leaves at the Helios Medical Center in Dnipro. Is it correct? During this time, according to your information, according to your statement, you were abroad in the United States, correct? Yes. According to the certificate issued by Medicine and Education Phoenix LLC Poland, you were determined the terms of disability. At the same time, the address for the period of disability was the address of an apartment in Krakow. But somehow, when you were supposed to be in Krakow, you were in the USA. Did you inform the doctor that you changed your address? Do you have the confirmation that you have notified the doctor? It's my family doctor. Family doctor in Poland? No, he's in Ukraine. But you got it in Poland. It was issued to you in Poland. Yes, I was in hospital. I was the inpatient. How could you be in the USA? The sick leave was for a long period of time. In the beginning of the sick leave, yes, I was in Krakow. And then during the while this sick leave was still valid, you got in the USA? No, but I have been to a few hospitals actually. I will not give you my diagnosis, but I was discharged from one hospital and they have prescribed me some medications. I informed the doctor that I had to go to another country. And I informed the doctor that I didn't live in Poland, and the doctor approved this, but with on the terms to proceed the medical course. Our question is a different question. In fact, all sick leaves you took in Ukraine that was shit in Ukraine. They were during your time when you were abroad, and now not only when you got it in Poland, but also in the USA. Did you undergo any treatment in the USA? No. But this was during my sick leave. So during the sick leave, yes. Do you confirm this? Yes. And what foreign medical documents did you submit to the doctor in Ukraine to confirm this? The translation of the documents from abroad I have submitted to Ukraine. Can you tell us when you submitted them? After you returned or during your stay abroad? I will not give you the exact date, but this was the term of the doctor for me to submit the translation. I was reconfirming it and prolonging it many times. So how could you do the medical how did you undergo medical examinations at the Helios Medical Center in Dnipro to extend the period? With the translation of those documents was the sufficient ground. So during this long period of time when you were on the sick leave, and they were all submitted per your main place of registration, did you get any reimbursement from the state for e-sick leaves? I mean, it's always usually done in automatic mode. I don't know. I didn't learn about it. In your opinion, does an outside observer get the impression that you issued e-sick leave to extend your vacation? No, it's nothing like that. I could stay I had 100 days of vacation that I could have used, but I was on the sick leave. So you had the remaining vacation days? Yes, because I don't get the compensation. It is preserved. Okay, thank you, Hannah.
Questions. There are questions concerning your participation in different events and also meetings with politicians. On your Facebook page, you describe yourself using such a wording as expert in economic issues and judicial reform. In addition, some media to whom you give interviews call you the same. It's my question. Why don't you position yourself as a judge? It was a period when you have not been a judge. Could you explain us the situation?
Я вважав, що я експерт.
I thought that I was an expert in reforms. And as of 2014, when these reforms took place, we had a group in our court, a group of judges who studied the legislation, also the international legislation and the constitution, and we prepared the proposals for amendments to the law on the reform of the judicial system. So this lasted for 4 years. So I thought that I had sufficient information about the context of legislation. That's why I referred to myself like that. But I didn't hide the fact that I was the judge.
Так.
Yes.
Maybe I have the extra question. You said in the beginning that you were judge for 5 years because it was the constitutional principle, yes? But then after, have you been appointed as a judge for a life period of time?
Так, мої
Yes, my powers, they were advanced. I had to pass the evaluation. And again, this was in relation to the judicial reform, and by the decree of the president, it was prolonged or extended for the new term.
Okay, and now being a judge, you participated in the different events, especially with different politicians. In 2023, out of 260 working days, you are absent from work for 191 days, of which the business trip took 5 days. In 2024, when the advisory group requested the relevant information, out of 262 working days, you were absent from work for 103 days, of which the business trip took 30 days. You have spent almost all the time abroad. Moreover, there were periods when you spent 5 months, 135 days, and 4 months, 115 days abroad continuously. Do you confirm this information? It was even said before, yes?
Так, підтверджую.
Yes, I confirm.
Yes, but what was the reason for such a long absence from work? For such a long stay abroad?
I would like draw your attention that I work in the court as of 2010, and going abroad started in the second half of 2022. The main visits were because of getting humanitarian aid for Ukraine. 6 months after the war began, I didn't go abroad, staying in Ukraine, but working in Dnipro, I have faced the situation when many refugees moved to Dnipropetrovsk region and needed meals and clothes and different types of assistance. So I have contacted my friends from Poland, and they informed me that there is humanitarian aid, but they cannot deliver it to Ukraine because they are afraid. The drivers are afraid to go to Ukraine. They're afraid to go to the territory of Ukraine. So I know Polish, and I know these people and this land. I decided to use my skills in order to help Ukraine, and I went, and there is the confirmed fact of this assistance, which lasted for 2 years. I was helping people. Even our immigrants from the USA sent, assistance, money for the addresses of the foundations in Ukraine. So I was absent only during the war. I have never gone abroad before that. That's all. But you just answered my questions when I asked you about the sick leaves that you never went on the vacation. Can I? Yes. This was 2023, 2024. When I was on the sick leave, I didn't take vacation for that period of time. After the sick leave was over, I didn't take vacation again.
Into account that you, how to say, travel a lot. Why did you not provide an exhaustive list of documents that would confirm each fact of leaving Ukraine? What documents did you submit at checkpoints except for your passport? Because you have to show something, yes?
Because during the first year of traveling, I went to pick up the humanitarian aid, and there was the system Shlach of the Ukrainian system. When I used this system to go abroad and to return, and each of these trips was registered. What is delivered has been registered. I don't have these documents, but they usually issued for 1 month, or then you can take them for 3 months. But this is the general state system where information is available. If I had to leave, I would get this. Roman Zinovevich, but you were continuously abroad for 4.5 months. That's what we are asking about. We are interested in this period in particular. Like, what were the grounds for such a long stay abroad for 4 months and a half during your duties as the judge? When I went, I would go to one place, for example, in Poland. And when I was in Poland, I would send the humanitarian aid. Which documents did Shlach system provide to you to stay abroad for 4.5 months? No, Shlach only gave me the grounds to leave. While I was abroad, and I got sick, the sick leave gave me the grounds to stay abroad.
Even on your Facebook, because you are very active on Facebook, and on your Facebook page you noted that you met in particular in Brussels with the European Parliament member Vlad George. So you were in Brussels, attended meetings of the European Committee of Regions and the European Commission, and then met in the United States with Congresswoman Victoria Sparks and Congressman Jim Costa, where you discuss issues of recovery and financial assistance to Ukraine. But you travel between Europe and United States, so as is exactly for us very important to know how it was possible to combine with the work of judge. Do you confirm this information? Yes, because it is in the report that you travel so much.
I would like to draw your attention that these visits and meetings happened during my time off, during my vacation. I used my personal time to contribute to the matters of recovery and help to Ukraine. On a daily basis, we all hope that the war will be over soon. However, a lot of factors that affect this depend on the international help. So, I wanted to use any opportunity to join the meetings where I could learn how I could personally help. This was neither political format of meeting. This was my personal time that I used for the country.
By yourself. All meetings were organized by yourself, and you have, I don't know, somebody who organized the meeting, because it's not so easy to go to Brussels and looking for somebody to talk. Yes, who organized the meetings? You said that only yourself. How you can explain it?
This was a conference devoted to the topics related to Ukraine and also to the topics of Mariupol. When this city was destroyed, the mayor of the city was present in Brussels. When I was coming back to the US, I was informed that I could join the group that would participate in the discussion on the matters of recovery and help to Ukraine. So I used my personal time to join this group because the European Parliament members also wanted to participate in the discussion and share their views on the recovery of Ukraine. The majority of the topics discussed during these meetings was focused on the issues of recovery of Ukraine.
But you know, being at the conference, taking part in the conference, it usually take, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 days, but you spend much more time being there. And so it's that the question who was responsible for your staying abroad. And in your opinion, we would like to know, to do discussions of social, political, and economic topics with officials and politicians, because members of European Parliament are politicians, as well as coverage of such meetings and social networks, have sign of political activity. Maybe it is not very clear, it is, how to say, in conformity with a judicial role of judge.
Я вважаю, що ні.
I believe that no, since I'm not an official representative of any political party, and I'm not an official representative for Ukraine. This is just my position as the citizen of Ukraine.
You also took part in the different, how to say, business meetings. On your Facebook, again, on your Facebook page, you also indicated that you participated in meetings of the US-Ukraine Business Council, of which your father's company is a member, as well as Footbridge, Ukraine, Poland, Europe. Do you also confirm the information? Because as you said, you were very strongly engaged in the all activities which could help Ukraine, yes? You confirm this activity also. I don't hear because
Yes.
of court decisions contains 4 of your decisions dated 9 November 2013. Why do you participate in the event during the working days that is not related to your main activity? You are not able to answer the
Я пригадую,
question
це було
properly.
9 листопада.
As far as I remember, yes, this was November 9th, 2023.
Just before the war.
Тоді
I do not have any memories of this fact.
No, but you know, it's very difficult to, to have a clear picture because, you know, you don't give us a clear answer. When asked by the advisory group about the event in Poland, you answered that the result of your visit was the establishment of food supplies that were purchased at the expense of your parents' company. So in that case, you were, I don't know, the official of your parents' company being at the same time a judge? How it's possible to combine the activity of your parents and then you are judge? You are, I don't know, being between Poland and Ukraine. How you can explain the role?
I'm not the representative of the company of my parents. I do not participate in any entrepreneurial activities. During my visit in Poland, I encountered a unique production. So these are the grocery products that are extremely useful for the frontline due to their opportunity for self-heating. And I do believe that the matter of nutrition for our armed forces is one of the problematic matters. So I did use this as an opportunity to present this as the possible production for the company of my father, and knowing that my family, starting from 1998, has been helping people in constructing churches. Our company has gratitude letters from Vatican. This is our position. This is what we do. Therefore, having the information, and for anyone not to think that this was an entrepreneurial activity, this seems nonsense to me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Oksana. I have no more questions in this case.
Романе Зіновичу, хотіла б уточнити.
Romana, I would like to ask, during the period when you were staying abroad, during your sick leaves and on vacation, you did receive the compensation as a judge. Do you have this information? Do you understand that you were receiving the compensation? Yes, I understand this, but this was a real sick leave. I mean, you do understand that your staying abroad was paid. Yes, I do understand this. At the same time, I would like to know that certain visits were made at your own expense. For example, in 2024, from September 15th till October 7th, you were on a business trip to the United States. And you did mention that you covered all travel expenses related to this business trip, and these expenses amounted to approximately 400,000 hryvnias. So, taking into account the high cost of living in the United States, did you have to submit to the NACP a notice of significant changes in property status? Current legislation states if the one-time expense is more than 150,000 hryvnias, you are supposed to inform the NACP. If this is a one-time expense that happens within one day. This was not a one-time expense. I did live there every day. I did calculate the expenses on accommodation and traveling. This was traveling from Poland to US. So how much did you spend on a daily basis? Approximately 400,000 hryvnias. I do understand this. I'm just trying to explain why I did not consider that this is subject to declaration, because this was a one-time expense. I understand your position here. Thank you. Now we have several questions related to your activities as a judge. In response to the question of the advisory group, you indicated that you have known Serhiy Shapran for a long time, and in 2022, since the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Russia, he lived in your parents' hotels for some time. These are not the hotels, these are the properties of my parents. So the primary question is that you know him for a long time. Yes, I do. Since what year approximately have you been acquainted with Serhiy Shapran? 2020, 2019, probably, for quite some time. Thank you. Have you made any court decisions directly or indirectly related to Serhiy Shapran and his companies. In your answers to the written questions of the advisory group, you confirmed that you are familiar with the materials of the investigation of the schemes project of Radio Liberty, which was published on October 22nd, 2024 under the title Russian Business in Ukraine Worth 1 billion hryvnias despite the sanctions passed to a private owner from Khyber Sandaresh. At the same time, within this investigation, the journalists point out that your acquaintance with Serhiy Shapran helped to remove from the sanctions of the National Security and Defense Council numerous assets of the Unigran holding of Russian businessman in Ukraine Igor Naumets, who extracts minerals from quarries in the Zhytomyr region and manufactures and sells building materials. According to this investigation, the transfer of ownership of sanctioned assets in favor of Serhiy Shapran companies was formalized by a Kiev notary who subsequently appealed to the court where you work, the order of the Ministry of Justice to suspend her access to the State Register of Real Estate. Notary Alla Rebikina, registered at the city of Kiev, appealed against the order of the Ministry of Justice on the results of an audit of her as a state register, and you accepted her appeal. I was not aware of this. Well, you can see the legal address, which is the city of Kiev, so you as a judge open an appeal in Dnipro. I do not recollect the materials. We can bring the materials and we can even remind you the number of the appeal. Yes, I do not quite remember the reason for her appeal. I could not open the case if she was registered in Kiev. I did not consider this case, so I did not make any decision in this case. And I did not even get familiarized with the materials of the case. I started checking my registers after your question because I was also surprised to discover this. However, I did not have any case with the surname Shapran. That is why in my response I mentioned that I did not consider these cases. I want to mention that the investigation by schemes was published in October 2024, and you issued a decision on self-recusal in May 27th, so before the investigation. Now, let's come back to this self-recusal case. The reason for self-recusal was that your close friend, lawyer Natalia Boyko, decided to step into the case. And this was the grounds for your decision on self-recusal. At the same time, according to the materials of the case, in no documentation, Natalia Boyko is stated as the participant of the court hearings. Could you explain this? I can explain this. We did consider the case in the written format while we were waiting for the materials from both sides. And at this moment, I did receive this request. I did issue a decision on self-recusal previously, so without digging deeper into the materials of the case, I simply issued a decision on self-recusal. So you know the materials of the cases, and you already had the materials for a month and a half, and you see that the appeal comes from the person registered in Kiev. I do not remember this properly, but this is not possible. This is the register of court decisions. You do not see the information on registration in this information. So I did assume that she registered in Kiev or in Dnipro. Okay, thank you. Moving on, I do believe that you remember the case of Atat K LLC. You did answer the questions regarding this case, and we reminded you about this during the interview. So, this particular company, as of January 2021, had its beneficial owner, Sergei Shapran. Is January 2021. I'm not sure about this. Yes, this is what we have as an official information according to open data. However, in 2021, you commenced proceedings in the case on the claim of this company between the same parties on the same subject and grounds, which at that time was considered by the District Administrative Court of Kiev. Did I have this question among the written questions that I received from the AG? Do you confirm this information, or you cannot answer this? I do not remember this. I do not remember the case on Atad K and Sergei Shapran. We started communicating in 2022. Yes, I would recall him if I saw him. But we started keeping in touch after the beginning of full-scale invasion, when his family lived in the house of my parents. Did you, as a judge, check on what grounds a company registered in Kiev and earlier referred to the court in Kiev filed a lawsuit in the court in Dnipro, and particularly in the court where you work? At that time, I was not acquainted with him. Okay, and if we speak about commenting the proceedings in the case, when this case was already subject matter and grounds was already in the proceedings of another court, the same parties, the same subject matter, it is impossible. Either the case was recused or maybe there were some other circumstances. I can give you another example of another case. And this is case 160 2261 21. This is the second case when you commenced the proceeding of the case, which was already under the consideration by another court. For example, by the decision of September 2nd, 2021, you satisfied the claim of JV Etat K LLC, which is controlled by your good friend, against the Holobutovskyi District State Administration in the city of Kiev to declare illegal and cancel the order to assign an address to this house. So, this is the case which was already under the consideration with the same parties, the same subject matter, in a different court. And the State Administration Court did make the conclusion that these sections were in the violation of the law. When I was learning these cases, when I was learning the materials, there was an appeal to consider the case without the result, which stayed there for a longer time. And I understand that this was the reason for sending an appeal to the Dnipro court. That is why I commenced the proceeding on the case, but I did not consider the case until the Kiev court did not make a decision to return the case.
I see. Let's go back to the case where the beneficiary of the enterprise is Serisha, who is your acquaintance. In September 2021, you have satisfied the lawsuit of the organization ATAT that he had relation to in Kiev in order to abolish the decision on assigning one of the buildings that was located in Kiev. If you open the proceeding in Kiev, where the defendant Holobutovskyi District Administration, and the subject is the building that is in Kiev on Saksahanska Street. I didn't have these questions. But since the proceeding was open, that it means I had the grounds. Most likely, if you have question too even about this company, that I guess it was registered in Dnipro. This case was considered after the lawsuit that you remained left without consideration. So we can't say that you were not aware about the case at 160 2022-61. So the question is that there is a number of cases that are related to your acquaintance, Serhiy Shafran. And when we have analyzed the information that is in open sources, like state register of the court decisions, then we have the question, why the lawsuits in relation to this company that refer to its activity in Kiev, but the proceeding is open in Dnipro, and you are the judge that is opening it. That's why we are asking these questions, to debunk the doubts, to find out the circumstances. Okay, I will explain. I know this person, but he's a businessman. I'm the judge. But okay, can you tell us, when did you meet? I think it's it was before the war, but this we have the case as of 2021, so it means that you knew for the moment of the consideration of the case. I know the president of Ukraine, the cabinet of ministers of Ukraine, but it doesn't mean that we have some conflict of interests or coverage. I consider cases of different people. I meet people in the streets. I can be sitting with them in the restaurant, but I have no ties with them. And I have no ties with Mr. Shapran either. We started communicating with him during the war. I know him as a good businessman who pays salary to a few thousand of people and pays taxes. The ground for our contact in the motherland of my parents, it's food products, and he said, I have food products, help me gather it, I will send it to my employees. So he was helping to send this to Dnipropetrovsk. This is something that has united us, but I don't know what kind of business he has or how much he's making. For me, he's the person who loves his wife, his children, who pays taxes, who officially works. And the first negative information that I got, it's about the business scheme, what I was very surprised to see. It's not about Mr. Serhiy Shapran. I'm just saying that I don't know him very well. The subject of our interview today is your activity as the judge. Of course, we're not discussing Mr. Shapran, and we treat with respect all people. Thank you for your answer. I think you understand that after on the 9th of November 2024 at the session of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine that referred to the matters of adopting documents from you, you were asked the question about your scientific activity, and it just happened so that you couldn't answer the question of the topic of your dissertation. And who is your consultant? That's why we are forced to ask this question. I know that you know the topic of I'm sure you know the topic of this dissertation. So the question will refer to a bit different aspect. Answering the question of the advisory group of experts, written, you basically confirmed that the author of your monograph, which serves as the basis for you to defend the dissertation, doctoral dissertation, the content of the dissertation is that your consultant is Tatiana Mivka. So could you please tell us, did you consider where is your personal contribution, and how did you as an author draw conclusions? Where is your personal contribution? What was the scientific novelty of your personal contribution in this dissertation? So I want you to separate the role of the consultant, scientific consultant, and you as the author. Why? Because And according to the data from the files of your monograph, the author in fact is Tatiana Mivka, your consultant. So we want to debunk these doubts. As for the file, when I got the request to provide the documents, I couldn't find them, so I went to my scientific consultant and she has sent it to me. So I thought that you need the text itself to check for plagiarism, but not the fact of authors. I mean, I didn't even pay attention to the files that I was sending. As for my doctorate dissertation, every work of every thesis or dissertation, it's the analysis of law and identifying the problem and the ways to eliminate them. Okay, in your doctorate dissertation, what was the scientific novelty? This wasn't prior to this. This matter hasn't been studied. Not. Could you please tell us which aspects you researched, and you researched them for the first time? Name these aspects. Well, we spoke about the public service in the judiciary, holding accountable. What was the novelty? Your novelty. What was your contribution into science of administrative law, administrative process? Because I understand this was your specialization. So your personal contribution. I proposed ways to tackle the problems that were not regulated. Could you specify which exactly? I cannot tell you now. I'm just speaking in general. So which conclusions did you draw? I have proposed the ways to eliminate the gaps. Which gaps? Of undergoing the public service. Which gap do you see there? And which are the ways to overcome it? No, I cannot remember. And when did you defend it? In Zaporizhia. In which establishment? The Zaporizhia Institute of what? What is the name of the institute? Okay, thank you, Roman Sergeyevich. I think it's National University. I see. Thank you, Roman Zinovich. Dear colleagues, are there any other questions? Allow me. Roman Zinovich, you agreed to participate in the competition for the position of the judge. This competition was announced by the Committee of Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine on the 22nd of May. So you had a long period of time, for a month, to submit documents. You submit your application and set of documents on the last day that was specified by the committee, on the 22nd of June. But after that package of documents, there was no state certificate on the level of Ukrainian language, which is mandatory to participate in the competition. Do we view it as your lack of integrity that led to competition procedures for each candidate who decided to apply, that they lasted longer? Sorry, what's the question? Why didn't you add the state certificate on the level of the Ukrainian language, the state language? Why did you submit it later? Is that the reason? Is your lack of integrity the reason for this that led to delays in the competition procedures, not only in your personality, but also in all those who applied to participate in this competition? In the moment of submitting these documents, I didn't have that certificate yet, because the nearest registration to take that test I mean, so I passed this test on the 21st, but the certificate is issued 10 days later officially. So I did give the printout from the internet that I took it, I passed it, but I couldn't get the certificate itself. It took me a few days to get it. So you had 1 month's time. Did you have the physical opportunity to get that certificate? There is the electronic registration. The nearest date was the 21st of June. I had to go to Kropivnitsky because that was the nearest city where they would hold this exam. That's where I passed Ukrainian language. I see. So in other words, it doesn't showcase your lack of integrity. I see. Thank you. Dear colleagues, are there any other questions? If there are no more questions, then Roman Zinovich, you can make a short closing statement, up to 5 minutes. Thank you so much for hearing me out. Please consider that I tried to provide all the requested documents, explanations without concealing or hiding anything. Thank you so much. Thank you, Roman Zinovich, for your answers. Dear colleagues and the public, now I announce the